What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary here to discuss a Woody Johnson quote, one that I liked from our guy Woody from yesterday at the NFL owners meetings. He said, "I'm not the patient sort. We're in the winning business. We have to win now." Now, I am not a Woody Johnson stan. I don't really love him. There are people who can't stand the guy, say he's a terrible owner, this and that. And you have people, a big thing yesterday was like, well, Woody Johnson's actually not that bad as an owner. I don't love him. I don't think he's a great owner, but in this instance, I think this is a fine quote, especially that we're in the win business. We have to win now. People are going to point and say, see, the Jets are pushing their chips to the table. It's not the right time. He's controlling this. The Jets aren't going according to their plan. I don't think the Jets would be in this boat if Zach Wilson was just okay. He hasn't been. Unfortunately, Zach Wilson wasn't just okay. If he was, there probably would be a playoff team last year, and we wouldn't be in this situation. But the unfortunate thing, or I guess maybe the fortunate thing, we could spin it as the fortunate thing. The Jets realized that and then said, hey, we have a very young and competitive core right now, a cheap core. Quinnen Williams is going to get his contract extension. We know that. But Sauce Gardner is making well under market value. Garrett Wilson is making well under market value. AVT is making well under market value. All these guys that you drafted and you're building your core around: Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens. You go right on down the line. Michael Carter II, the other Michael Carter, the running back. You have this really young team, which is a good thing. You can supplement that young team with veterans. There are really only two ways that you could win in this league. The first is you have a young quarterback on their rookie contract. That makes sense because they are, again, significantly under market value. The other is if you have a really good team but are missing that quarterback piece and you are able to acquire that veteran quarterback. The Jets, most of the Jets core is in place. Again, do they need some tweaks? Yes. They need some offensive line help still. Center and a tackle, which could be addressed in both free agency and the draft still at this point. They're not, they haven't missed on every single one of those options. Interior defensive line depth and potentially linebacker and safety depth as well. It's not anything super drastic where it's like they don't have a number one receiver, which was an issue for a really long time. They have no running back. They have no edge rushers. They have no corners. They have most of that stuff figured out. If there was ever a time, I feel like a broken record saying this, guys. I really do, but I feel like I have to reiterate it because in the comments or the replies to that quote, it just drives me crazy. If there was ever a time for the Jets to go for it, it's right now. It's right now. And that's what we talked about on Just Jets earlier today. Now would be the time to do it when you don't have to pay all these young, talented guys what their market value is going to be. In a perfect world, yes, Zach Wilson would have worked out, but he didn't, or he hasn't yet, if you want to hold out the hope. They've missed the playoffs now for 12 years. When is enough enough? You have to put your foot down and say, we're going to try to really go for it. The Jets have done the slow build pretty much since they tore it down after 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 6 years of it. 6. And I'm not saying you go, crazy drastic and go, you know what? We're just going to, Mike McCagnon spend big money in free agency and put a Band-Aid to fix it. It's not that same situation. You had 7 picks in the top 40 the last 2 years. That's how you build your core. You had 3 first-round picks last year. You had Breece Hall, who you moved up for. You got talent on the roster who's young and were rookies who were being well above what we thought they could be as a rookie and reaching their ceiling so early. Now's the time. I agree with Woody. You have to win now. You have your coach going into his 3rd season, and the GM's been here for another 2 on top of that. He has had a 2021, 2, and now coming up a 2023 draft. This is going to be his 4th NFL draft. The free agency period, he didn't really have a 2019, so you don't have to crush him on 2019. But they tore it down after 2020. And now they're building this thing up. The next step, you took that step forward, right? We hate how it ended. The 6-game losing streak last year sucked. It was terrible. Unacceptable. The next logical step is, okay, now you have to make the playoffs. It's okay to have expectations for this team from fans, from ownership. You don't have to just go, we're going to keep kicking it down, kick it down the line, kick it down the line, kick it down the line. Go for it. Now is the time to put your chips to the table and say, F it. We've lost for too long. We have this Hall of Fame quarterback who wants to play, who's going to open up a championship window for a couple of years. And that doesn't have to be the end of it after those 2 years. There are ways to pivot. If Joe Douglas is as good as the GM, as many on Jets Twitter claim for him to be, and I like Joe, I think he is a good GM. I think he does get them to the playoffs this year. He will be able to figure out what to do next after Aaron Rodgers. Don't worry about 2 or 3 years down the line. Worry about the next couple of years. Go try to win for once. And then you figure it out. Not the biggest Woody Johnson fan, but this quote, I'm okay with. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you next time.